The late afternoon sun spilled golden light across the quiet restaurant, where a man in a plain white shirt held the hands of two identical little girls. To anyone watching, he looked like a simple single father, tidy, polite, and a little nervous, as if life hadn't been very easy for him. But what no one could guess was the truth. Behind the simple clothes, behind the ordinary smile, this man was one of the most powerful young CEOs in the city. A self-made millionaire. A man who had built an empire from nothing, who could have arrived in a limousine, dripping in tailored suits and branded watches. But today, he had chosen to be someone else. Michael Carter had everything: money, influence, respect, but what he didn't have was someone who loved him for himself. Every date he had ever been on, every relationship he had ever tried, ended with the same realization: they wanted his fortune, not his heart. That was why, when his closest friend signed him up for a blind date with a woman he had never met, Michael decided to hide who he was. No Armani suit. No expensive car. No bodyguards or assistants. Today, he was just a broke single dad, with twin girls, Emily and Grace, who clutched his hands tightly as they entered the restaurant. "Daddy, are we going to meet a princess?" Emily whispered, her blue eyes sparkling with curiosity. Michael chuckled, kneeling down to smooth her blonde curls. "Not a princess, sweetheart. Just a very nice lady. Remember, good manners, okay?" Grace raised her little finger like a teacher. "And no burping at the table." Michael laughed, kissing the top of their heads. His daughters were his entire world. They were the reason he worked so hard, the reason he built his empire. And secretly, they were the reason he hoped this blind date would be different. Whoever this woman was, she wasn't just meeting him, she was meeting his family. Across the restaurant, a woman walked in, the kind of presence that turned heads instantly. Long golden hair caught the light from the windows, falling in loose waves down her back. She wore a soft cream blouse tucked into a flowing pastel skirt, and her smile carried a mix of confidence and warmth. Her name was Claire Bennett, though Michael didn't know that yet. She was not someone who lived for wealth or luxury. She had grown up in a modest home, worked as a teacher, and had learned to fight for everything she had. She didn't know she was about to meet a millionaire in disguise. When Claire reached their table, Michael stood politely, extending his hand. "Hi, I'm Michael. And these little troublemakers are Emily and Grace." Claire's eyes widened in surprise. "Oh, you brought your daughters." Michael smiled sheepishly. "I hope you don't mind. They insisted on coming along. And, well, I thought it's better to be honest from the start. They're a package deal with me." Instead of looking annoyed, Claire crouched down so she was eye level with the girls. "Hi, Emily. Hi, Grace. I'm Claire. I love your dresses." The twins giggled, instantly warming to her. Claire's heart softened. So many men she had met were selfish, arrogant, and uninterested in real family connections. But this man, even if he was dressed plainly, carried himself with kindness. As they sat down together, conversation flowed easily. Michael asked about her life, her work, her passions. Claire told him stories about her students, about late nights grading papers, about her dream of opening a small community library one day. Michael listened intently, captivated not only by her words but by the light in her eyes when she spoke about helping others. She wasn't asking him what car he drove. She wasn't curious about his salary. She was curious about him. At one point, Emily tugged on Claire's sleeve and whispered, "Are you gonna be our new mommy?" Claire flushed crimson, while Michael nearly choked on his water. "Emily," he laughed nervously. "That's not how it works." But Claire only smiled, brushing the little girl's hair back. "Well, let's just see if your daddy likes me first, okay?" The table erupted in laughter, even Grace joining in with a mischievous grin. Yet beneath the light-hearted banter, Michael felt something shift inside him. This wasn't just another date. There was something real here, something different. For the first time in years, he wasn't being treated like a bank account. He was being treated like a man, a father, a person worth knowing. Still, the secret weighed on him like an anchor. What would happen when she discovered who he really was? Would her warmth fade? Would she look at him differently once she realized the man in the plain shirt was the CEO of Carter Enterprises, worth hundreds of millions? As dessert arrived, 2 slices of cheesecake, one of which Emily immediately claimed, Michael leaned back, watching Claire laugh with his daughters. He felt something rare and dangerous, hope. But destiny has a way of testing us when we least expect it. Just as Claire reached for her glass of water, a man in a sharp suit walked past their table. He froze, his eyes narrowing at Michael. "Mr. Carter," he said in shock. "Sir, I didn't expect to see you here without your security team." Claire's fork clattered against the plate. She looked from the men to Michael, her brow furrowing. "Wait, what did he just call you?" Michael's smile faltered. The truth, the one thing he had worked so hard to hide tonight, was about to shatter everything. Michael's heart skipped a beat. The men in the sharp suit had spoken too loudly, and now several heads in the restaurant had turned their way. Michael could feel Claire's eyes burning into him, a mix of confusion and disbelief. He forced a calm smile, hoping to brush it off. "I think you've got the wrong person," Michael said evenly, tightening his grip on Grace's small hand beneath the table. "I'm just here with my daughters." But the suited man shook his head vigorously. "No, sir. You're Michael Carter, CEO of Carter Enterprises. I saw you last month at the Investors Gala." Claire blinked, stunned. Her mind spun with the words. CEO. Carter Enterprises. She had heard of that company. It was one of the most powerful corporations in the city, handling luxury real estate, technology, even international trade. The name, Michael Carter, was whispered in business magazines, a man described as both ruthless and brilliant. But this man sitting in front of her, the one who dressed simply, who laughed with his daughters over cheesecake, he didn't match that image at all. Claire's voice trembled as she leaned forward. Is that true? You're a millionaire CEO. Michael sighed. He had promised himself honesty, but not yet. He wanted to show her the men before the money, the father before the fortune. Yet the mask was slipping, and there was no hiding anymore. Yes, he admitted softly, meeting her gaze. It's true. I'm Michael Carter. But tonight, I wasn't trying to be that man. I just wanted you to see me as I am, with my girls, as a father. Not a CEO, not a millionaire. Just me. For a moment, silence swallowed the table. Emily and Grace exchanged wide-eyed looks, sensing the tension but too young to understand the weight of it. Claire leaned back slowly, her arms folding across her chest. So, let me get this straight, she said carefully. You invited me here, pretending to be an ordinary guy, when in reality you're one of the richest men in the city. Do you have any idea how that sounds? Michael winced. I know how it looks. But I didn't lie about who I am as a person. I only hid what I have, because I needed to know if you'd like me for me. Do you know how many people see dollar signs instead of my face? Do you know how many women I've met who smiled at my watch before they smiled at me? His voice cracked, surprising even himself. He rarely let emotions bleed through the steel mask he wore in boardrooms. But this woman, this teacher with dreams of opening a library, she had already reached a part of him he had locked away. Claire searched his face. There was no arrogance there, no smugness. Only vulnerability. And yet, it still hurt. Michael, trust goes both ways. If you wanted honesty from me, why didn't you give it to me from the start? Emily tugged on Claire's sleeve again, sensing her disappointment. Please don't be mad at Daddy. He's really nice. He makes pancakes shaped like bunnies. Grace nodded enthusiastically. And he reads us stories every night. He's the best daddy ever. The innocence in their voices pierced through the tension. Claire's heart softened, despite herself. She couldn't deny what she had seen tonight, the laughter, the love, the way Michael looked at his daughters as if they were his entire universe. That wasn't something money could fake. Michael reached across the table, his eyes pleading. I didn't want to lose this before it even started. Claire, you're different. I saw it the moment you walked in. And if I told you right away, I was terrified you'd treat me like everyone else does. I just wanted one evening of being normal. Claire exhaled slowly. Part of her wanted to walk away, to shield herself from disappointment. She had been let down before by men who wore masks. But another part, the part that saw Emily and Grace smiling at her with hopeful eyes, whispered that maybe, just maybe, this was worth giving a chance. Finally, she spoke. Michael, I'm not going to lie. I don't care about your money. I never did. But I do care about honesty. If this is going to be anything at all, you have to promise me something. Michael leaned forward. Anything. No more secrets. No more pretending to be someone you're not. I want the truth, even if it scares you. Do you understand? Michael nodded, relief flooding his chest. I understand. And I promise you, from this moment on, you get nothing but the truth. Just then, Grace raised her tiny hand like she was in class. Does this mean you're gonna be our mommy? The table burst into laughter again, and for the first time since the truth slipped out, Claire smiled, not the polite smile she wore as a teacher, but a genuine one, filled with warmth. And though Michael didn't know it yet, this was only the beginning of a story that would change all of their lives forever.